Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Food School Smarter, Stronger, Leaner podcast on a mission to inspire a world where food makes us better. Hey guys, first, I'd like to express gratitude. I felt extremely grateful this morning, once again, when somebody reached out to me and asked me where they can donate some money to support my work. And, as an independent coach, health nutrition coach, content creator, not affiliated with any companies or brands, sometimes financially it's still a little bit of a struggle, to be honest. But, guys, my community, because of you, I know I'll make it happen. And I'll succeed and I'll get through and it's just going to be amazing. I'll make it. Because of you guys, I believe in this. And thank you. Thank you for reaching out. Thank you for helping out. Thank you for all your praise, for all your help, for recommending my content, my services, for sharing all of this. And just thank you for being out there, for being on this journey with me. So felt like expressing gratitude today. Almost made me cry again. But let's get back to our food nutrition talk. So guys, today you're gonna hear an unfiltered conversation with a friend of mine, new friend of mine here in London. She's actually Polish. Her name is Emilia. And we're chatting about all about diets, nutrition. Emilia works as not as content, but digital marketer for different companies, startups, helping them to market their services and whatever they have to offer. But she's really good at what she does. But she also is very much interested in nutrition, health, fitness, and how she can too look her best, feel her best, and perform at work and in life and support her long-term health. And she doesn't have all the time to do the research, so she just wanted to talk to someone who knows better, who can filter information better, who has a better judgment and more experience in the field. So we chatted all about different diets like keto, vegan, vegetarian, what is good about them, what is bad about them, where are their blind spots and silly things people in those diets say, like carbs are evil, or all carbs make you fat. Like, not true, guys. So we chatted a lot about that. We also chatted about things like why you should really think about before going dairy free. Emilia and myself, we shared common problem that we fixed with dairy: teeth, sensitivity of our teeth. You probably know that calcium is used in our teeth. That's how our teeth build the different structures and become strong and protected from the chewing and different acids that are in our food or created in our mouth when we digest foods, right? And so calcium in dairy products, especially in fermented dairy products like kefir or yogurt, that calcium is highly bioavailable and very concentrated. So it's pretty much like the only source of this kind that calcium contributes not just to our teeth, our bones, but also to our muscle functioning, to our nerve functioning. Like every time our nerves, for example, need to send signals between each other, they need calcium to make that happen. Every time our muscles need to relax, we need calcium to make that happen. We need a lot of calcium. They say that we require about 1,000 milligrams or 1 gram of calcium per day. It's one of those nutrients that we need a lot of. So we chatted a lot about that and how our teeth got all better and much less sensitive. That is good for teeth when we reintroduce dairy products, because Emilia also tried to go dairy free for all these different reasons that people say dairy is bad for you, myself including. I only tolerate certain kind of dairy, fermented dairy, not so well with other kind of dairy. But anyhow, we chatted about that. We also chatted about supplements, what supplements I take personally every day, what I recommend people to take, how to choose better supplements, the ones that I recommend. Like, again, I'm not affiliated with any brand. We're not talking about brands, but about the kinds of supplements like multivitamin or multi-mineral, and what you might look at when choosing better supplements, making sure that you are getting everything you need. We talked about the silliness of our today's world, diet world, where you are apparently either on a diet or you are eating whatever, and there is no middle ground. Like, people either go all out eating whatever junk food and sweets and whatever they want, or people go on some crazy diet like keto, vegan, vegetarian. But guys, the best way is still in the middle. It's still in the middle. That balanced diet, primarily whole foods, cooked meals, that is the best scenario. Not going carb free or dairy free or animal foods free. No, actually, the middle ground is the best. Not vegan, not vegetarian, not keto, not carnivore, no. In the middle, but well balanced, nutritionally rich, whole food diet that is primarily made out of cooked meals, freshly cooked meals. So we chat about all of that. So please do enjoy our chat with Emilia that we recorded on December 31st, I think. So yeah, it's still in 2020. Seems like ages now. But yeah, please enjoy, please share. And guys, again, thank you for being out there, for sharing, for learning, for educating others. Let's make this world better, more nutritious together. And as usual, guys, after you finish listening to this episode, the whole day, eat better daily. Let's start chatting. So, what questions do you have about nutrition and food and healthy lifestyle? Because, you know, I'm always, as a nutritionist and being in this field for many years, it's one thing what I have in my head that seems to be like, straightforward or very easy or simple. It might seem, complicated or, I don't know, not that straightforward, like what is good for you, what is not good for you, what is healthy, what is not healthy, or anything also about any diet. Like, there are so many these days, and a lot of times it's just very confusing for most people.
Sure. So actually, yeah, I do have a question. Like, what do you think about vegan diets and vegetarian diets? So, like, are they healthy, or do you need to do some special kind of supplements or meal prep when you do that? Because I don't eat a lot of meat. So usually I eat like things like falafel and peanut butter, hummus, things like that. So I wonder, are they healthy? Or do I need to do something else about it?
That's a great question, Emilia. And a lot of people these days are trying to eat less meat, go vegan or vegetarian. And just like with any diet, it's that is healthy or unhealthy. It's we need to look at like the whole picture. Whether you're getting enough protein or not, it will depend on your specific diet, like how you do that, right? So, vegan or vegetarian diet, most sources of protein are things like beans and nuts also have some fat. So if you are trying to eat more plant-based, you would want to include, right, trying to avoid animal products. Animal products are better sources of protein, for example, because they're just more concentrated. So it's much easier to eat all the protein you need and all the essential amino acids, those building blocks of protein from animal, because they're also more complete, like they have all the amino acids compared to a lot of plant-based sources. So it's just easier to eat all the protein you need from animal foods, from eating less of them. Foods, because you need to choose specific plant foods. You need to make sure that you have all the amino acids, because it's not just the number of the amount of protein matters, but actually also those building blocks, because we need specific kinds. Some of them we can't make, so we need to. And as for the healthiness, it can be healthy, but for example, vegetarian diet, you can design it in a way so you don't have to supplement, right? If you know what you're doing. But with vegan diets, it's almost impossible supplements. So you need to know what kind of foods, like what vitamins, what minerals, and other essential nutrients, what foods you eat have, and whether, what kinds of supplement you might need.
Okay.
So again, at your diet, what you eat every day. And a few times, you asked me about this app that allows you to track nutrients. So you need to put your foods for a few days, maybe even a month, and see the trends. That's what I, do for myself and a lot of my clients. So you look at your food and what you usually get and don't get, and then you supplement. Okay, I don't seem to be eating this, and it's needed for my health, so I need to supplement for that. So it can be made pretty healthy, vegan or vegetarian diet. It just, when you eat everything whole foods, like healthy whole foods, it's much easier to get all the nutrients. Don't include a lot of foods. That's why probably humans are omnivores, because it's just easier to hit all the numbers when you eat a wide range of foods.
Right, yeah. So, how often is often enough, for instance, when it comes to, say, animal protein? As I said, for me, it's mostly because I don't really like it. So, but I do eat eggs, right? From time to time, eggs are a good source of protein, complete amino acids. So I wonder, how often would I need to eat them? It's once per week, once per day, or is...
The nutrients we need daily.
Okay.
So, for example, we need it daily, or the vitamins and minerals, we need them daily to support all things in our brain. Some nutrients we can store in the body for a long time. For example, fat-soluble vitamins like vitamin D, vitamin A. Okay, there are only 4 of them. But most nutrients we need daily. And so how often, so most of those needs we need to meet every single day. And whether that can be, from eggs, it will depend on your specific, in your specific case, what foods, you get from time, not every day, but from time to time, and what foods you get every day. Answer your question. Most of the nutrients, essential nutrients, amino acids, most of the vitamins every day. Just some we might less frequent, especially those fats.
Okay. So you would recommend using?
We are using the same app right now. It's not the app, the website. Transcheckthefood.com.
Okay. Check.com.
Yeah. So, but there are other chronometer or chronometer. That's another good one that shows you all of the nutrients. A lot of people these days they track calories, fats, carbohydrates, proteins, and they think that that's enough. But that's not actually enough, because a lot of nutrients, for example, vitamins and minerals, we need to get energy from our foods, right? Or create certain neurotransmitters that allow our cells to communicate, or allow our muscles to function. or to create hormones. So what I was answering. Distracted.
About this app and tracking.
Yes, so the app. It's most of the people, at least for a week, for a couple of weeks, need to use this kind of apps that allow to track all of the nutrients to understand whether they might be deficient.
Sure.
So they know that, and then they either choose foods that have those supplements or nutrients, or use different supplements to fill the gaps that they might have in their diet.
Gotcha. Right. How about these? I don't usually eat. But like, how about, for instance, these sugary, say, protein bars or shakes, like sweet but not sweet because of sugar, or are supposed to kind of be a food supplement in a sense. What do you think about those? Because I'm thinking, on the one hand, it's sugar-free, it has vitamins, it has protein, but on the other hand, it's super highly processed. So when I read the ingredients, I don't even understand half of it, right?
So look, there are a few of it that you want to look at. I like to say these days, we don't know what we don't know, meaning supplement companies, they try to do their best based on our current to put good stuff in it. Since we don't really know how whole food works or what exactly it has, like everything, we don't know yet that. Like nutrition is a very young science. So when they say, our supplement has like everything, like every nutrient or vitamin, mineral, everything that we know, but also there is most probably a bunch of things that we don't know. So getting some of the vitamins, minerals, nutrients, it probably might be a good idea, better than nothing. But we all need to understand that whole foods is much better option always, because we just don't know what food that our body might need, but we don't know about that yet. So we can't put it in a supplement because we don't know about that, right?
Yeah.
And then the second thing, supplements are never identical to whole foods.
Sure.
So there are different forms of, vitamins and minerals, and even how amino acids are made. They're different from whole foods. So our body interacts with that in different way. And sometimes it's okay, sometimes some vitamin might be absorbed well by your specific body, your microbiome. Sometimes it isn't absorbed at all. Like some people take supplements and they just aren't absorbed because it's just not whole foods and the body cannot efficiently, use it. So just because it's in the pill, it doesn't mean that the body can use it.
Yeah.
And that's why I always recommend whole foods first. Try to get, as much as possible from whole foods. But of course, if it's not possible for some reason, supplements of good quality are much better than nothing. So the same, goes for multivitamin or anything like that. Yeah. But if you can't, something isn't available or for some other reason, then a supplement is better than nothing, for sure.
Do you take any or?
Yeah, especially now, multivitamin,
Okay.
I do take every day. I try to get as much as possible from Whole Foods, but even it's hard for me to get every single day that. Multi-mineral, because in multivitamin supplement, they usually don't add all of the minerals we need. And minerals actually sometimes, often they're even harder to get than, for example, all the vitamins that we need, like covered in those supplements, minerals not so much. And then what else? I think because it seems like the more the better we are, and it's almost impossible to use vitamin C. Soluble. Yeah, the body needs it for so many things, and I take antioxidants. It's in the form of matcha, so powder, just naturally, green tea. I just take half a teaspoon of it, and that's what I do now. From time to time, I might change things. If I know I'm not eating, for example, fish, I'm going to be getting fish oil, right? If I know I'm not eating vitamin D, I always have in my mouth. Yeah, so I look at my diet, and then if I'm not eating something, if something isn't available, I try to get it from supplements all the time. But multivitamin, multimineral, these days, I take it myself all the time, and I always recommend to other people to take it, because, these days, you just want your immune system at least to function at all times, because you get exposed, and most people's diets are nowhere near perfect. That's what I would recommend and what I take myself personally.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, because I wonder, some foods like apparently not healthy and we should avoid them, like red meat. I've heard that it may cause colon cancer, so you shouldn't eat much of red meat. But then, like, where do you get your iron? When you think like the equivalent of the iron, like a ton, right? So it's just not practical. And the same, for instance, with dairy. Like, people say you should avoid milk and dairy. But that's like the richest and most available source of calcium, for instance. And I can't eat shellfish. Like, I'm allergic. So
wait,
so like, where do I get it from? Yeah,
that's also very good point. Like, if you know your personal I guess differences, or like your special conditions, like maybe you aren't digesting dairy well, or you are allergic to shellfish, right? But it's a good source of, I don't know, iron or zinc or omega-3. So you need to figure out where are you going to get it, you personally. That's why, I'm not a fan of all this these days, people doing like, you talk to a person and they're like, I'm dairy-free, gluten-free, sugar-free, like protein-free, and I'm everything-free. And I'm like, but where are you getting, all of your vitamins and minerals if you're everything-free? People quit dairy, but then they don't think that, well, now you aren't getting calcium anywhere, so what are you doing for that? Are you supplementing? Are you thinking about that? It's not like you can, from now on, we don't need any calcium. Doesn't work like that, right? So for me also, if I know I'm not going to be eating dairy products, I have my calcium in a supplement. So if on this day I'm not getting it, I'm getting a supplement. And that's why, I also do not recommend eliminate foods unless, like, if you're allergic to shellfish, it's necessary. If you aren't, and you just don't like it, well, I didn't like a lot of foods growing up that I included because I know they have certain nutrients. So, this is the point, that don't eliminate foods, whole foods, totally healthy, unless you really have to. And if you have to, know how to supplement for that.
That's interesting. I think, like, what do you think about like body cravings? Like when you feel like you wake up and like you feel something, right? And I'm not even talking about pizza, but like I feel body's quite smart. So for instance, if that's an example, I don't eat a lot of dairy these days, but if I go for a long time without it, my teeth like start to hurt because I'm not getting enough calcium. And I feel like, okay, I can take supplements, but this is going back to what you said, that whole foods, like, it's easier to absorb. I don't know, maybe it's just literally, my mom is a dentist, so she tells me like, milk products, they like literally remineralize your teeth. So when you have them in your mouth, like your teeth takes up the calcium from, the dairy products. And this is crazy, but it works, that then I have some, I don't know, yogurt or something like that, and in a few days, like my teeth problem is gone. I'm not talking about cavities, but just like the sensitivity,
I know, what you're talking about, because I tried to eliminate dairy at some point also, and my teeth quality deteriorated. Like I started to get more, cavities and sensitivities. It goes away like in a few days once I start. So you were talking about cravings. The body is smart and not so smart. It also depends on a person. Every engineer. If you aren't eating a lot of junk food, your body will about the foods that you are eating, and foods, body needs something from that. You're gonna crave that. But then, if a person eats a lot of junk food, their body doesn't have those, what I like to call maps, to tell the person what to crave, because they've been eating junk food for so long that the brain already forgot where to get any food, because all the brain knows is that junk food. And all your brain knows is that it doesn't get what it needs, but it doesn't know how to tell you what it needs because you lost that brain. And so a person starts craving everything. Basically, a person is just constantly hungry. But because they don't have those associations anymore between whole foods and certain nutrients, they just crave food. And a lot of times people would end up eating more the same food, like junk food. And then that doesn't satisfy the need for certain nutrients, and people start craving, again, that junk food. And so, yes, like the body will crave stuff when you need something, but how well you will know what exactly your body needs, it will depend like how good your eating habits are and what kind of foods are in your daily menu.
That's very interesting. I think the opposite also. For sugar, I feel like whenever I eat something that has it, even if I didn't know about it, right? I made a shopping mistake, say, and I bought the wrong kind of snack, for instance, that was supposed to be healthy, but it's not because it has sugar. I immediately know because my body reacts to it. That's quite, I feel, interesting. Not to eat bad food, because then you just feel shitty afterwards, right?
Yeah, because the body gets used to good and bad stuff, and having this balanced state or homeostasis, and anything that pulls you out of that, the body will tell you. And if it's something good, you're probably gonna feel better. If it's something bad, like junk food, you're gonna feel worse. Like for me, because I almost never eat junk food, and it's been for years. When I eat like French fries or something, I feel so icky in my stomach. It's like, it's like I want to just throw up, But daily, no, it's fine. And that's because they develop that tolerance to that. So,
interesting. How about things like, bread, say, carbs, stuff like that?
So,
how should we eliminate them completely?
Depends. I never like to fats, calories. I like to talk about whole foods.
Right.
So bread depends what kind of bread. For example, there's sourdough bread. When the bacteria ferments the dough, the gluten or whatever, wheat or other grains that is in that bread. So those bacteria, they ferment it, pre-digest it, and so that bread is usually quite healthy. It's made from whole grain flour, and it's usually much better, again, tolerated by people, by your stomach. But again, maybe this person has allergy for a specific grain. So for rice, the same. If it's whole, you don't have any allergies to that, and you don't eat in excess, you just eat normal amounts, there's nothing at all bad about carbohydrates. You might be, again, intolerant to certain food, like I don't eat grains because they just make me feel low in energy and sleepy, and my stomach is a little bit more bloated and heavy, so that's why I don't eat. But there is nothing wrong about that.
Okay, that's very interesting as well, because a lot of people, again, you hear you shouldn't be eating this, you shouldn't be eating that, and when I kind of compute all this information, I'm like, okay, so I shouldn't eat literally anything, right? Because grains are bad, but then I'm bad, but then again, some pulses, so basically beans and etc. are also bad. Dairy is bad, and I'm what should I eat? Grass.
Yeah, exactly. So that's exactly the point. A lot of women come to me for advice, and they're I don't eat again dairy, and I don't eat red meat, and I don't eat grains, and they tell me what they eat, and it's I don't know, lettuce, peanut butter, a little bit of fish here, and I'm how are you surviving on that
Yeah.
even, you know, and you're still alive.
Yeah.
And because, yeah, certain foods, whole foods might not work for like one specific person because they have, I don't know, some condition, but it doesn't mean that this food is like bad in general. The same, you know, with pulses, with red meat, or with a lot of foods. In excess, they might be bad for someone, but if it's everything in moderation, it still works. And also what happens, you know, to a lot of people, they go on some diet, vegan, vegetarian, and they feel better. And then they say, well, this diet works for me because I felt better. But the diet before was really, really bad. Right. So I'm like, it's not that the red meat is bad. You just were eating a lot of junk.
So anything would make them feel better, basically.
Exactly. Or, for example, what was the recent one? Yeah, or ketogenic, you know, low carb diets. People like, carbs make me feel bad. And when you ask them what kind of carbs, they start talking about French fries or some junk food or some pizza, and you know, you're like, yeah, but have you tried like eating carbohydrate-rich foods that are whole foods, like beans, like some fresh fruit? You know, have you tried that? And a lot of times those people wouldn't have any problems with those kind of carbohydrates. It's like junk, somewhere in the middle.
That's totally
Cool. Yeah, thank you, Emilia.
Thank you.
You know, I'll be mindful about your time. It's New Year's Eve, so thank you for your time, for your questions.